we need to talk about a certain guy. And it's a famous, well, now infamous when it comes to me, but it's a famous VIP Hollywood actor. And now I see why the acting of a villain was so natural for him. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're talking about this traitor right here. He's a traitor. I don't even care. I'm going to say it. Breaking Bad star Giancarlo Esposito, I hate that his name and surname are Italian, says it's time for a revolution by Metatron. Are you calling him a traitor just because he has maybe different politics than you? No. I'm calling him a traitor because of this. You ready? Let's go. Maybe you'll disagree with me, but I kind of doubt it on this one. It's too bad. Let's go.
This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. You know, some very rich old white men are exerting their power to suppress our own people, thus creating a feeling of civil war in the streets, preparing the haters to hate, teaching them how to shoot. They're not even trained right. To kill. This is all a preparation for a very insidious problem that's happening in our world. And for me, I have to speak out that we will not be iced out. This is not going to happen. They can't take us all down. If the whole world showed up on Putin's doorstep or on the Iranians' doorstep or in Washington, it would stop. They'll kill 550 million, however, but the rest of us would survive with a new. This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. But we have to be strong enough to know that we can change the world. We have to change it from within. So if I'm spiritually ready and right, you know, and I'm ready to understand other people and to agree to disagree with them and say, okay, let's find the solution together, then that starts to change things. Not by deporting immigrants, not by killing brown and even white people on the street. It's crossing over now, and believe me, this is gonna really spark the nature of so many people who are gonna show up and say, no more. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Okay, so we have a lot to unpack. Don't worry. If there was an ad, it's fine. I'm gonna dissect every word. Then I hope the FBI gets involved. So, first and foremost, the first thing I would like to underline is this.
It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. You know, some very rich old white men.
Anti-white scum. Anti-white racist. That's the first thing I wanted to say. Next. So he says it's time for revolution, right? It's time for revolution. How many people need to die for you to force your politics? Let's hear it again.
Out. This is not going to happen. They can't take us all down. They'll kill 550 million, however.
Okay, so 50 million people, right, could die, and he's totally fine with that from behind his golden palace with 24/7 security. Do you think this guy is going to get on the streets while the 50 million are being taken out? You know why I know the answer is no? Here's why. He said it.
But the rest of us would survive.
Would survive. Exactly. You rich scum. He wants you. Okay, if you agree with his politics, he wants you to literally lose your life because you are expendable, because you're poor. That's what it is, guys. 50 million of you, all dead on the streets, so he can survive because he's staying behind the palace of gold. This is disgusting. That's what this is. It's unironically his character. Exactly. Yeah, he did the meme. That was exactly my next point. I'm going to show it. When I call someone out, I'm all in, guys. You ready for it? In 3, 2, 1. Here he is. He did the meme. This is Giancarlo Esposito. I apologize to him that I have to use an image of a white man. I'm sure that's going to upset him very much. But literally, in this case, I'm colorblind because it's exactly the same. Sorry for doing that, Giancarlo. I know you hate white people. You made that one very clear. But here is the thing. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Giancarlo Esposito, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. God, as I say, I have a lot to say today. Metatron Uncensored, never mind Piers Morgan Uncensored. Words like this incite violence, but that's what he wants.
This is time for a revolution.
That's exactly what he wants. He wants the violence. And note one other thing, because now we're going to continue our analysis and we're going into body language analysis.
But the rest of us would survive with a new...
Yeah, the rest of you, absolutely, you're going to survive.
This is time for a revolution.
Okay, you said that.
It's time for it, and they don't need...
Repetition is part of propagandistic systems, by the way. Repeat the same thing over and over. That's how you get the message across.
Even know that's what they're starting.
They don't even know that's what they're starting. Who's they?
But we have to be strong enough to know that we can change the world. We have to change it from within.
So you have to change the world means, I'm going to act as a translator here. We're going to change the world doesn't mean, because remember, he's talking about 50 million deaths. He's talking about a full-on revolution, okay, with deaths on the street, not him. When he says change, it doesn't mean, hey, I don't like some things about ICE and I'm going to protest and I'm going to bring light onto... No, he's literally talking about the majority of Americans voted for President Trump. I disagree with that. Why did they vote for him? One of the reasons is people are fed up with illegal immigration and they voted him to take care of that. Now, we can discuss whether or not you think he's doing it the right way or not. That's absolutely an aspect that we can discuss, but that was the vote of the people. Otherwise, but what he wants is, well, I disagree with that, so I'm going to have 50 million die so that we can change and get people in power that I like. That's not democracy. Because if that's how it functioned, democracy, constitutional republics couldn't exist, because then, the left wing is in power, we don't like Biden, revolution. Then the right wing is in power, we don't like Vance, revolution. That's not how it works. But it's not only that. Check this out.
I'm spiritually ready and right, and I'm ready to understand other people and to agree to disagree with them and say, okay, let's find the solution together. Then that...
To find a solution together means avoid the 50 million dead, but that's not what you want.
Starts to change things, not by deporting immigrants.
I really don't understand this whole thing about it's wrong to deport immigrants. If they're the illegals, look how he says immigrants. I'm an immigrant. Clown. It's really that simple. For every illegal immigrant that crosses any border, because borders are everywhere. The Vatican has borders, while the Pope says, oh, it's wrong to have borders, right? And he has got medieval walls that prevent people from crossing its borders. Every country has borders. For every legal person that enters the country and then commits a crime, not the crime of immigration illegally, but the crime of they grape a person, they kill a person, that crime could have been prevented because that person wasn't supposed to be there. So the person that is the victim is the person that I'm interested in. Now, is every illegal immigrant a criminal? In the sense of someone who would attack children, attack women? No, but because when they enter illegally, there is no background checks, I cannot know. It's a massive question mark. I don't want to risk it with the innocents. So I say, get out as an illegal, come back to the legal channel, they run backgrounds on you, they see, this guy has got Al-Qaeda, let's not get him in, or this guy is a radical Islamist, no, you're not coming in, but this guy from... wherever the heck, I don't even care what he looks like, nice guy, no problem, hard worker, good degree, engineer, whatever, actual engineer, comes in, integrates, learns a language, maybe marries an American, I have no problems with that. But I know the problem with illegal immigration, it's unbelievable I have to say this, the problem with illegal immigration is that when they enter the country, you know nothing, and some of these will be actual violent criminals. And for each one of these that commits a crime, that's a crime that could have been prevented and it's a victim that wouldn't have died. Good luck telling the parents of the child who lost their lives because but illegals. And that's that. That's my spiel. But please, look at this one. Body language. Look at this.
Not by killing brown and even white people on the street.
And then he smiles. So, of course, that's a problem. He had to put even white people, right? Because he's talking about Alex Pretti and the other lady, and they were white, right? But that's a problem because oppressor gets kind of collapses. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth. So the basis of this ideology is brown and black people get KILLED in the streets, bad white supremacy. But now you've got two white people that died because they interfered with law enforcement. You can agree, disagree, think it was an overreaction. I already made a video about that. We'll talk about the new footage on Alex Bretrin, but for now. And there's a problem. In fact, I showed a video with a white liberal woman that was saying, I cried when Good died, but I feel bad because I shouldn't cry for a white woman. So it's like short-circuiting the brain. And that's a problem. He had to say even white people, but yet he smiles.
And even white people on the street. It's crossing over now.
Look how happy he is. After he said it's white people who died. Look at his eyes. Caught himself, guys. Giancarlo Esposito is a traitor to this country.
And believe me, this is gonna really spark the nature of so many people who are gonna show up.
Okay, so that was the first one I wanted to show you, but it's not the only cringe we got from Hollywood. I got another one. You ready, guys? I came prepared this time. There is this other actor who had something to say.
It's really upsetting to see people forget that we're a country that we have immigrants to thank for, and I feel the same way about my home country in the UK.
You mean the United Caliphate?
And as an actor, I don't want to conflate my influence or what I'm able to do in order to affect change, but certainly I try to look at how I can draw attention to certain things in society to try and raise awareness or to try and motivate change and activate people. But I also remain cognizant of the fact that I'm an actor and not an activist, and I don't do the work that people like Annette Dio do, for example. I'm in the business of trying to draw attention to it. It's really up.
I find it objectively fascinating. It must be a skill to speak for 44 seconds and manage to say nothing. He said nothing, but the one thing he did say, of course, this is in the context of ICE and immigration and that kind of stuff, which I would say you have a lot to worry about in the UK. I don't think you have spare time to think about what's happening in America. Let us deal with that, because you've already got your own problems in the UK. But regardless, check this out.
It's really upsetting to see people forget. That we're a country that we have immigrants to thank for, and
Right, so immigrants. Here's the thing, though, and again, we don't have a problem with legal immigration when, before people in the comments, when it's properly regulated. Not, well, okay, we call them legal and we get 10 million people. Obviously not. Legal immigration needs to be properly regulated, distinguish between refugees within the constraint of the budget allocations, because you don't want the system to collapse. So even refugees has limitations because citizens first. But anyways, some real refugees within the limits of the budget, fine. Then you've got legal immigrants, but people that contribute to society, people that have a reason to be here. That's how it works. You can't just come here because you like it. You got to have reason. Here meaning anywhere, by the way. That's how it works. It's only the West that for some reason needs to be borderless, but I digress. Someone marries or someone actually has something, they come here, they integrate, they assimilate, they learn the language, they respect the culture. It's different. It's a different type of immigration. So even when I say legal immigration, I don't mean open the faucet and whatever the heck comes in. Regulated correctly. No one has a problem with that. So note that every time these Hollywood actors speak about, I can't believe that people have a problem with migrants. We are a nation of migrants. We should be happy. Yeah, that's the legal ones. People have a problem with the illegal, but they never say it. Because they know that the moment we start actually talking about illegal immigrants, you're going to lose any debate. Every single debate. Oh, but whenever we talk about taxes, for example, just going to give you one example, but taxes, yeah, but illegal immigrants are really helping because they work. Right. And even then, I think it's the 10% unemployment rate. So maybe give those jobs to Americans in America, but whatever. They are doing jobs, great. But they are underpaid. They have, because they're illegal, the companies that actually employ them don't give them benefits. They don't give them health coverage. So there is that, if you really cared about these people. And also, they are not paying taxes because it's illegal. Then they tell you, no, actually there are ways to circumvent that and give them a social security number. And that way they can technically pay taxes. Great, that's a federal crime because they're stealing someone else's social number. There is always a way. They will always lose it if they bring up illegal immigrants. So they say, immigrants, thereby gaslighting and using a straw man. I only have a problem with illegal immigration. And the people that use your emotions are the ones that annoy me the most, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. But the people that use your emotions because they show you a picture of this husband, and he's so upset, wherever the heck he's from, Mexico or the Middle East, I don't know, and he's upset because, look, they separated him from his wife who was illegal, and now they're separated, husband and wife, they love each other, how could you? They're pulling on your emotional strings, and of course, at a human level, when I see a husband and a wife separated, I feel for them, but I will not let you weaponize that against me just so that you can manipulate me into supporting your policies that I disagree with. I'm not going to let you do that. Also, because I tell you this, do you think I'm a joke then? Because I'm a legal immigrant and I was separated from my wife for 1.5 years. Not 15 seconds like the person who is crying. 1.5 years we were separated because I waited so that I could get the proper immigration papers. So at this point, I'm going to say, why didn't this husband work hard to pay? Because believe me, they can do installments. You don't have to forward the $4,000, whatever the heck it was that I paid in order to do immigration. I get it. Not everyone has $4,000, fine. But if you come here and you're working, right, probably the dollar is higher than the currency or whatever the heck you're running away from. And so why didn't you use that to get your wife here legally at this point? I'm going to ask. I would do 2 jobs. I'm writing a book while I'm doing YouTube. Technically, I am doing 2 jobs. I would do 3 jobs to make sure that my wife is here. So there is that. But once again, am I an idiot that I was separated for 1.5 years from my lawful wife because I did it right by the books? That's the situation, guys.